So he's only going to answer one question per each person, only because we have other people waiting and it's not fair. So one question per each person. So decide to ask the most pressing question for you today, so that we can get to other ones. So you've done a good job explaining, and this is what we are saying. If you are not listening, you will be on the show and people are still not understanding what is being said. This whole thing has to be done by you. Stop worrying about the government, about the people that are in the house. Since they've been there, have any of them represented any of us? So why do we keep referring back to them over and over again? We are telling you that power belongs to you. You, the caller, you hiding under the bridge, you calling people names, you, and you. You guys are the one that will say we can no longer live under this constitution that is stifling us, that is taking the oxygen out of our lungs. So what part of that are you guys not understanding? Because we keep saying this, and some people think it's all about ranting and being on the radio and one Biafra, and Biafra is our hope and all. Me, Jesus is my hope. Where is Jesus? He's not here. I have to do my bidding to get to Jesus. So this is the bidding that we all need to do to get to that destination that we are looking for. Can we appreciate that and focus on, yes, okay, I have determined I want to be a doctor. Now I have to start doing the prerequisites. Do your chemistry, do your whatever, take the MCAT and go to medical school. We are talking about the process. This is the process here. You cannot skip it. No amount of emotion will make you skip it. This is what you need to do to take your power back. Oh, okay. Caller Galaxy 880, please, your name and where you're calling from. Turn on your video, sir. Galaxy A80, turn on your video. Okay. We don't have time to waste. I'm gonna remove him. And once you remove, you can't even log back in again. That's the funny thing about this. TECNO CAMON 12. Turn on your video and your audio. Okay, this other guy is not able to, he cannot log in. TECNO CAMON 12. TECNO, you're on mute. Turn on your video, you are on mute. TECNO. TECNO CAMON 12. Okay, I think Ugwa is ready. Ugwa, please go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Tony, well done. Well done for your effort. My question is.
Yes.
Yeah. My question is, by the time the constitution is dropped, what governs the part of the country?
A transitional government. What South Africa did to get rid of apartheid constitution was that they came to a date in 1990. After 80 years, the apartheid constitution was introduced in 1910. People began to resist what they thought was oppression on their land. And down the road, two lawyers emerged in their midst, Oliver Tambo and Nelson Mandela. Up to that point, the blacks in South Africa were chasing these Boers with stones. Everywhere they see them, they throw stones at them. The Boers will fire and kill 20, 30 people. That was what was going on. But these two lawyers came to tell them that it is not these people in government house that are responsible for your situation. It is the apartheid constitution that took your land and described you the way you became in that land as slave. And so the focus moved away from throwing stones and being fired with live bullets to focusing on the apartheid constitution. That was the case they took to the international community. And that was what was, engaged to bring an end to that apartheid. And so in the time it had come to where a majority were now in that knowledge, the government, the pressure had been brought to the point where the government of Frederick de Klerk had to announce in 1990 that apartheid constitution could no longer carry the society any further. And they went into a transition. That's what this alliance is about to enact. That's what this constitutional force majeure is targeting to enact. That those who impose that constitution will be brought to where they can no longer proceed to any business under it. And if you have a situation where three-quarters of the country is together in that insistence, and they've gone to explain it to the international community. You saw us in the US throughout last year. You saw the UN coming into it to pronounce that constitution as the source of this misery, as the source of this killing, and that we are now a danger to the international community. The answer to your question is that a transitional arrangement will have to be put in place like South Africa did in 1990. It took them 5 years. Kodesha. Was that not the process? So we are saying that we have come to where that constitution had to be put aside. A transitional arrangement will have to be put in place. All the work of what will replace it have been done. That was what we spent the first 15 years doing. To make sure there's no anarchy. So that's what it is. We have to get to transition. Those in government house can remain there for nominal governance. And the ones who have to decide where they go with their sovereignty will go into the process. It shouldn't take the 5 years it took South Africa, because we've done all of the work of what will replace what we are rejecting in an orderly form. It will go to referendum so that there's nobody going back to shooting the way we saw in 1967. This is not the same debate that led to that war.
All right, thank you, Eduga. So we have Galaxy A30. Go ahead, your name and where you're calling from.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
Okay. Thank you so much, because I haven't been using this platform before. Thank you so much, Daughters of Truth. I appreciate your wonderful job you guys are doing, and I also want to thank Tony for the work he's doing as well. I have a question, and my question is as regards to the constitutional force majeure. In a layman's terms, when is it going to be activated, and how? And after that, what should be the next thing? If it's a referendum, how is that referendum going to be achieved? Going to be managed? So the constitutional force majeure, I mean, we've had a lot of, about it for some time, and I was part of people who were agitating for Biafra and all that, IPOB and all that. So please, I would like you to throw more light on this constitutional force majeure, how it should be activated or achieved, and after that, what is the next thing that would happen, and how would it be managed? Thank you.
Right, I heard it. Thank you. Now, there are aspects of the information that can only come at the time the action has been activated. Those who think they are getting benefits from the rotten, status quo, the present arrangement, they are all putting heads together to see whether they could dethrone the Igbo presidency at the East. So look, we can now accept you to come and be president. People are holding meetings in Sokoto and in London, trying to say, Igbo, come and take. We already told them that even if Buhari resigns today, to say let an Igbo man come and take over from him as president, under this constitution, we are saying that that will not solve the problem and will only intensify what we are doing. That Igbo man that will step forward to go and be president under this constitution will have us to contend with. And there's nothing that will be spared in stopping them. How much more when we have to go to election to get to that? All of those who will be preparing to go to that election will have those who have been shot at on the streets of Aba and Onitsha, on the streets of Makodi, on the streets of Ibadan by this monster and these agents. They will have them to contend with. And the constitutional force majeure is just something everybody has to wait for how it will happen. But the summary of it is that it is this majority that will be coming out to disown the constitution, the further elections and further, business under that constitution that is injuring them. And it is just a matter of when they say it, they will begin to do it. When they say it, they will begin to do it. I'm sure you saw these things. There are written materials with timelines that have been in the public domain for months and months. In fact, it should have been activated, in the first quarter. It was the arrival of coronavirus and the shutdown and lockdown that came with it that delayed it. This majority, is working together to roll out something that will put a time frame, that will impose a time frame on everybody. The details will come as we go forward. From the time it's rolled out, there are certain things that will begin to happen in the period from those who, it will be a matter of, are you for this or are you for that? And if perchance there's a majority that is fed up with the union of master and servant, they will have an opportunity to demonstrate it in some way. I'm sure you had the Yoruba talking about the referendum bills they already have before their state assemblies. Their 6 state assemblies have bills by which a referendum bill by which the Yoruba will have to decide whether they want to proceed in any union with anybody, from the point of that activation of that force majeure. Again, you saw all of the journey to the UNPO. People are turning, the Yoruba went to the place, the Middle Belt is on its way to the place to say we no longer have a country. The East have been there. The LNC have been, in the place where they need to be in that UN system. We are guiding what we are doing with first-hand knowledge of what should be done to bring us to where this situation is precipitated. A constitutional logjam is imminent. If I were to bring it further down for you, the constitutional logjam will have to be resolved one way or the other. The resolution of it can only be by way of referendums. That's why those who are listening to us are already working. That's why the Yoruba prepared their referendum bills and sent to their state assemblies. Only in the East do you have people who are just going about waving flags, abusing people, getting people killed, with absolutely no plan for how anything can happen. Absolutely no knowledge of what they are looking for. Absolutely no desire to have anything change other than contribution of money. These are criminals. If you do not organize yourself to get out, I want those who are still in IPOB to listen. The United States Commission for International Religious Freedom, in their 2020 report, listed IPOB in the same paragraph as Boko Haram, as some of the entities tormenting the church in Nigeria. If those who are organizing that scam, if those who are organizing that franchise do not pull back, they are on the way to being listed as foreign terrorist organization. Because in that report, and that is the U.S. agency that will implement the executive order President Trump has signed on the 2nd of June for how to come to, abet this killing that is going on here. So what is the difference? To tell you the extent of what is wrong. What is the difference between the priest, the Catholic priest that is beaten up by Boko Haram and the one that is beaten up by IPOB? That's what is written in that report. That they are doing things to disrupt the life of Christians. And you heard when your supreme leader came out talking about Christians that will go to hell, saying that people should be stoned to death. You saw when a sitting senator in Nigeria was beaten up in Germany. So you are presenting yourself to the rest of the world as a violent group, justifying the terror tag that the government of Nigeria had placed on you. And if you thought it was an error, you go back to, there's a video that happened, something that happened in Ohafia, where your supreme leader came to say he will go to Abuja and bring the head of a sitting president. You saw him in Umuahia taking salute in a parade.
Thank you.
Are these not mad acts?
Thank you so much. I think you've done a good job explaining that. We have Elohim. Elohim, unmute yourself, your name and where you're calling from, please.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, your name and where you're calling from.
Okay. I'm sorry, first of all, putting on cap. I don't like doing that. But good evening. Calling from Indonesia. Actually, I'm a Yoruba guy. I'm from Ekiti State. There is something I want to ask because I follow up your program sometime about bringing down the constitution of Nigeria. I don't know if that is today's topic because I believe I'm on the line. But I want to ask a question about how to bring down this constitution because I keep listening to the young man, I think Tony Nnadi or something, talking about other group like IPOP. Yes, I'm not an IPOP member. Of course, I'm not a Biafran. But sometimes, I'm sorry to say, I like what they are doing. And the man, Nnamdi Kanu, has been on the limelight trying to make sure every ethnic group is free from Nigeria. But my question goes this way. I don't want to go into that. How can I be confused as how to bring down this constitution without being pressured? Because I cannot see the group. I think NSC is a group. I don't know if it's a group or organization. I don't know. But I cannot see the group like as IPOP is doing. Even here in Indonesia, sometimes they do their meeting around where I live. And I believe you talk about people, consulting people, working with people. I want to believe that people, the voice of the people is the voice of God. Yes, that's what I believe. Now, this IPOP is going and convincing people to know what they are doing. Now, but I can understand you people believe in people, which I believe. Which in every country I see them, holding rally and all of that. Now, my question is,
what is your
sorry?
What is
Ask your question, please.
My question is now, do your group believe in rally or going around, or you believe in underground work without people seeing, or the people you want to liberate seeing what you are doing? That is my question, and I need an answer, please. Thank you.
Before we answer, Mazi, before you answer him, he said he's from Ekiti. He's calling from, has he dropped? Oh.
No, go ahead, because
he didn't give his name. He didn't give his name, but he said he's calling from Ekiti, and it doesn't sound like a Yoruba guy.
That's okay. Let's answer the question real quickly and move on to the next person.
Right. He may have called himself any name he chose for whatever reason, but those listening, actually, they know who is speaking.
Right.
And so the matter is simple. Even if you do what you are doing, even if you go waving flags and causing commotion for the next 50 years, you've not made any case, you've not drawn up any plan that can translate to independence or that can restore sovereignty to those whose sovereignty have been hijacked by Nigeria, by the state of Nigeria. What the LNC did is to set up a plan for how those who are in that problem can work, internally among themselves to begin to, get themselves out of the cage. And it's not about the quantum of noise made. It's about a specific plan with timelines of when one padlock will be removed and another padlock opened and yet another, because there are about 8 padlocks, which was what we showed to those people who were talking about Biafra restoration. And the LNC did sit down with them at the beginning. Every one of the groups, starting with Wazirike's Masop to all the other ones that came after. Omuka says Biafra Zionist movement, and which is government in exile. All of them who say they want, it was just a matter, the noise is about the lamentation, a statement of complaint. The LNC brought forward a plan that can deliver that thing you are looking for. And the thing you want to get away from is Nigeria that made you slave in your homeland. The instrument by which they make you that slave is what the LNC has put in motion, a process that will remove the instrument and restore your right to be in your space.
Let me help you in a layman's term. My brother, what you're saying here, what we're trying to tell you is that it's like somebody trying to go to school for medicine. But you're in school, you're doing mathematics. You're in school, but you're heading the wrong way. What we're telling you is that Mazi said that you guys have laid a complaint of what they're doing to us. We all know nobody wants to be in that contraption. What they're doing to us is wrong. The LNC is now telling you that this is the process, this is the roadmap to get to where you're looking for, to get to what your ultimate goal. So some of you think it's yelling, screaming, crying. Yeah, that is the complaint. We are not telling you that we have heard your complaint. These are the things that we have to do based on international rules and regulations in order for us to get where we're going. That is the difference. So enough of that.
That's it. Right. I think that about captures it. Right. What the IPOB and all of the other people who are saying they wanted, who are they talking to? How will it happen?
To themselves.
And then we put a plan on the table that will deliver the self-determination to the definite territory that that fall into that location you are pointing at as where you want independence for. And we call your leaders one after the other, eyeball to eyeball, 42 different Biafran organizations in course of the last 12 to 15 years. In 2013 was Nnamdi Kanu, because the IPOB was the last to come, and he rejected every one of the 8 points of what needs to be done. He started doing the opposite of them, alienating all of those we needed most to be able to work together to break that cage.
Thank you, Mazi.
Every single thing we needed to do to succeed, they were doing the opposite. And now they've come to the end of the road. They can't see what progress they can make anymore, and they're making U-turn and creating falsehoods. You said you are now working with people you were abusing for 7 years. Who amongst them is going to listen to you? You are doing Photoshop for saying you went to the US to talk with people who are calling us every day about the Photoshop you are doing. As I speak with you in August of 2020, not a single official of the United States government had ever been in any meeting with Nnamdi Kanu and his IPOB. Everything you see is Photoshopped.
It's terrible, Maz.
And they're embarrassed for us.
It is.
The same thing as the UN. The same thing as the EU. So you destroy the cohesion. Mm-hmm. You destroy the cohesion we need with our neighbors who were with us in Biafra that collapsed, which the LNC worked hard to restore. You destroy the alliance we managed to build with our outer neighbors, the Yoruba and the Middle Belt, who were part of the alliance of 1967 that came against us. You are abusing them and saying they should be stoned if they come to your space.
You
do that for 7 years.
Thank you.
And you turn around to say, oh yes, now we are forgiving you.
We have callers waiting. Please, let's leave that one alone.
Oh, please, call them in.
Good job explaining it. They're laying a complaint, and LNC is giving you a roadmap to accomplish what you want. So it's just that simple. Galaxy 87H, your name and where you're calling from. Galaxy S7H, your name and where you're calling from. You have to unmute yourself, sir. Okay, so I'm gonna remove that guy.
Let's try the next person.
Yeah, so we gotta go here. TECNO, Cam, unmute yourself and turn on your camera. Hi, HUAWEI Mate, unmute yourself and turn on your camera. So whoever that has their camera on, ready to go, I will bring you in. If not, we'll just remove you and move on with other callers.
Try Ability Family. I think that one is ready.
Ability Family, where is that? Ability Family, okay. I don't see that. Okay, Ability Family, go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes. Now you are.
All right. Please, I want to say a few things in form of question anyway. Just note them down. One, I am
your name.
I'm 38 years. I'm 38 years old right now.
Okay.
I'm from Edo State.
And your name?
I'm calling. My name is Oduwa. Oduwa.
Okay.
Yeah. I understand Edo State must have been among the leaders he met in this organization called LNC.
Yes.
I am 38 years old right now.
Yes.
I have not heard of anything about LNC until Mr. Nnadi started attacking Nnamdi Kanu. I have not even heard of his name, not to talk of the movement he is into. Not until he started attacking Nnamdi Kanu. Why is that so?
Who started attacking Nnamdi Kanu?
That's one question. Second question I want to ask.
No,
as a man,
sir,
as a man in
you
life.
can only ask one question, okay? Remember, we told you there are other people waiting, so you can only ask one question. So obviously, that's the most important one too.
Please, let him ask the second question.
So,
Let's give him.
I wish you give me the chance to ask the second question.
Ask it. Go ahead.
Yeah, my second question, as a man in life, where I am right now, I had challenges, and there was a second option, which is where I am now. There is a place I wanted, it failed me. I have this place as a second option. If Nnamdi Kanu is a problem to you or to your movement, is there no second option to escaping that obstacle of Nnamdi Kanu, so that we all can attain this freedom we are looking for? Where I am, I'm not happy about it. There is an adage that there is no place like home. So I want to be in a place where I'm recognized. These two answers, these two questions, I need answers, please.
Okay.
All right. Very quickly. The biggest obstacle to that desire of yours is the scam going on in the name of Biafra restoration, which is actually debilitating what should have delivered that outcome long time ago. The Lower Niger Congress, before we came public in 2009, we actually, immediately after Pronaco in 2006, when we were thinking of how to begin to enforce the consensus that have been built, the Lower Niger Congress, the principal proponents, we spent 6 years going around, as you see in this map. Anything I say, if you go to research, you will see the video of how they happened. Just that our people were not listening, and at the time we were doing it,
they're still not listening.
It was like a submarine. The enemy was waiting for you to come and make trouble. The LNC moved like a submarine. You don't see the submarine moving, but at the time it was moving, we were also sending signals to all of those who said they want that outcome. The ones who wanted the outcome in genuineness did not have any difficulty collapsing into that plan. The ones who set out as a fraud, as a scam machinery, began to argue and make noise for things that ought to have been done quietly. They began to ring a bell. It is a stealth operation. They began to ring a bell all behind us. Oh, we go to Biafra, we go to Biafra. And then it made the whole task a lot more difficult. They began to abuse those we needed most. They began to lie to our people about things they know nothing about. Now, the LNC went to the palace of the Ugwa in Benin. If you say you're from Edo, Enohoro was in the lead, who went to Oba Erediowa of the time. He was the secretary to the government, to the cabinet office of Gowon that went to Aburi. He was the one that took the minutes of the Aburi meeting in 1967. And he had become Oba of Benin. And we went and made this proposition to him. And he called other people who he had to consult. It took them 6 months to the point where they agreed that this is better for them. Somebody has to speak of something somewhere.
Yeah. Sister Mona, can you mute him, please?
Mute the noise, please.
Solomon,
you have to be a responsible adult when you call our line. I know that some of you are having challenges manning this Zoom. When you call, you mute yourself. So if you are being disrespectful and unmuting yourself while we are talking, we will remove you because we have no time to waste. Our people are dying. Go ahead, Maz.
So the LNC went to all of this. This is the map of the territory that we call the Lower Niger, that is south and southeast of today. The LNC went from the palace of the Oba in Benin to the Oluwari, to the Amayanabos, all the way to the Oba in Calabar. It took about 6 years to come to the point where they were all sufficiently satisfied with our proposition. And it was in 2009. Anybody who wants to know whether this happened can Google Lower Niger Congress and go all the way down to the oldest document in public domain. You will see a document of 2009 signed by 22 signatories, including the leaders of the agitations of the time. Asari Dokubo was part of the job that signed at the time, and all of those who started that process, as I speak with you, they are the ones now landing it, because it wasn't something of noise. When we had secured what we wanted to do in our own immediate space, we then continued with the ones in the Yoruba space, the ones in the Middle Belt, and the other one in an alliance. The LNC is for this, the Lower Niger. The Yoruba and the Middle Belt are two different blocks who have to cooperate with, since we are under the same torment of this, Sharia belt. The three are in that alliance we call the Movement for New Nigeria, which is actually Movement for No Nigeria. And our common objective was to take on the constitution imposed on all of us by this Sharia belt, to take it down so that we can recover our sovereignty. That's what we're doing. And the matter of abusing or quarreling with anybody, it was the point at which the criminal came out to begin to talk about what to present himself as having done things he knew, things he was mocking when they were happening. At the time we were in Washington, trying to tell the Americans what was happening, trying to get them to see their own interest in that battlefield, because ISIS was in this place. ISIS and Boko Haram joined forces in 2014 and became ISWAP. And we were telling the Americans that these people have relocated from the Middle East into our territory. At the time we were doing that, the Nnamdi Kanu was busy mocking it to say, oh, he's talking about Biafra. And we went to we were talking about killing of Christians. He didn't see the connections. But when the American administration began to take steps to address that problem, he turned around to say that he was the one that went to talk with them. And so I had to say, because he actually said it was a lie. He said we were lying, that we went there on behalf of anybody, that we just went to take photograph, as if we were like him taking photograph. So that's how it came that we had to come public to say he had been. We discussed with him in 2013. He continued to do the exact opposite of what should have brought us to where we were going. We ignored him for 6 years. It has come to the point where what he's doing has become the biggest obstacle on the road to where we're going. I can assure you that obstacle has been removed long time ago. It's just anybody who is still hanging around that scam, our advice is get out, because by the time the US moves to the next level of categorization, the report of 2020 was based on things that happened in 2018 and 19. By the time they reckon the stone to death order on Wodo, by the time they reckon the beating up of Ike Kwemadu in Germany, by the time they reckon the Indonesia attack, the attack on the High Commission, Nigeria's High Commission in Indonesia, by the time they reckon the pictures that are coming from home of people who disagree with them and who get beaten up, who get injured, some have been killed, and people can pretend they do not know. Nobody wants to deal with that at all.
Thank you, Mazi.
It is act of terror.